Welcome to the Boom Breakdown. We're going to be going over the UFC fights coming up this weekend. I'm not going to go through all the fights, but I'll select a few and we'll go through the ones that I'm mainly interested in. But the UFC Fight Night, Lewis vs. Hunt in Auckland, New Zealand. We'll start with the main event, Derrick Lewis versus Mark Hunt. This is going to be probably the most exciting fight on the card. Someone's probably getting knocked out in this fight, and it seems like Derrick Lewis is able to persevere through hard times and fights. He starts a little slower, sometimes takes some damage, and then comes back really strong and gets that knockout. He's willing to take you down and get some ground and pound as well. But Mark Hunt, he's not a guy that you can take any shots from. If that guy touches your chin, that's it. The game's over. So it's a matter of, I think, Derrick Lewis keeping himself at distance a little bit, picking his shots, and maybe even trying to get a takedown and try to ground and pound Hunt, maybe pass guard, get the mount, and finish him there. Who knows where Mark Hunt's head's at. He has that lawsuit with the UFC, and since then he's been knocked out by Overeem, and he's taken some damage, and Derrick Lewis is kind of on the up climb, and he finished his last fight, Travis Brown, by knockout too, and I could see him keeping that momentum going and taking out Mark Hunt in this fight as well. Most likely in the first or second round I see a finish. I'm gonna go with Derrick Lewis by TKO. Next up we got Derek Brunson and Kelly. Now, Kelly's one of those styles that, when you see him fight, you just think, man, I don't know about this guy, but he's so durable. He's got solid judo. Just the way he looks, you just don't expect him to be as tough as he is, but he's one of the toughest guys in the UFC. He's willing to take shots and give back shots and stay in there the whole fight. He beat Rashad Evans his last fight. That was Rashad's first fight down at 185, but we saw, good things from this guy. We saw a lot of potential to keep climbing. And, Derek Brunson is another guy with really good athleticism, but he, sometimes gets a little reckless in these fights. And hopefully he learned from that last fight, the fight before Anderson Silva, where he was getting a little too crazy coming forward. But, I think Brunson's just a little too much for Kelly. I think he's going to be able to get the job done, probably on the feet, and I'm going to go with a third round finish by Brunson. Next up we got Hooker and Ross Pearson. Ross Pearson's a veteran of the game, solid striking, solid kicks, punches, solid movement. He's really good at mixing things up. He's in and out, hard to predict. But he's another guy that, he'll take some damage too. He's been rocked in many fights, and, you can't really take damage these days. The ref's going to stop in and take care of that. So, Hooker's a younger guy. He's an up-and-comer. He seems like he's doing big things. He's got a lot of good stand-up skills, and this fight's really up in the air for me. I think Ross Pearson's kind of, never really reached the top of the top, but he's always fought the best guys. And Hooker's, on his way up. And let's see who he fought last year. He's got a record of 14-7. His last fight was a loss to Jason Knight. Jason Knight's been very impressive, and he's been finishing guys himself, and he's got a lot of good skills on the ground, and he's got a lot of heart and willing to come forward and put the pressure on the feet as well. But yeah, I'm going to have to go with the veteran here. I'm going to go with Ross Pearson by decision. I think he's just going to be able to out-savvy Dan Hooker and get the victory. Alright, moving on. Let's see, who do we have here? We got Tim Elliott and Ben Nguyen. Ben Nguyen's one of those young stars that's a crazy athlete, really fast guy. All these guys at 125s are really fast, but Elliott really impressed me in the Demetrius Johnson fight. You know, I feel like he pretty much gave Demetrius one of his toughest fights. You can't put this guy away. He just keeps going. You know, he's really savvy in weird positions where he knows how to, you know, hold on and delay time and get up and scramble and hit submissions from weird angles. And this guy just does not stop with the pressure. You know, I will go ahead and say Ben Nguyen is probably the better athlete as far as just, you know, speed and quickness, but Elliott's really unpredictable, and he's in your face, and he just doesn't stop. You know, I think he's got that ultra confidence where he just knows he's going to break you eventually. You know, he came back and got a good win after that Demetrius fight. I think he's gonna get this win and come back for the title one of these days in the future. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with Elliott by second or third round finish. And we'll keep it at that for now. You know, those are the fights that I'm interested in. This one's sweet and short, you know, short and sweet, whichever way you want to put it. But, you know, we're going to get these boom breakdowns going and keep them consistent. And I hope you guys tune in. All right, thanks. Boom.